Hey, it's Barb from Wonderful Works, and before we get started on today's video, I want to tell you two important things about it. First, you may notice it looks a little different than our latest videos, and that's because it's the very first video that we ever made at Wonderful Works, way before we learned how to do animation. And the second thing is, the reason we picked this topic of sensory processing is because I struggle with it. And it's very important to me that churches understand how very important this topic is, because sensory sensitivities are no joke. And when kids are feeling overwhelmed, it is really difficult to behave in the ways that you hope they will. So I hope that you will enjoy this video, and thanks again for being here. Have you ever had a student who's shutting down or acting out and you didn't know why? Sometimes it can be difficult to figure out why some kids have a hard time at church. After all, children's church is a fun place because it's made for kids. With its bright lights, loud music, games and play, shouldn't all the kids be having fun? So why do some students seem to have such a hard time? Could it be that these students aren't experiencing the environment the same way everyone else is? Sensory processing disorder is a condition in which the brain has trouble receiving and responding to information that comes through the senses, which can result in an individual being oversensitive or undersensitive to their environment. Anyone can have sensory sensitivities, however, it is commonly seen in individuals who have developmental disabilities and those who are on the autism spectrum. So what do you think this feels like? Well, I can't answer that for everyone, but I will help you understand what it feels like for me. So I'm going to ask you to take a moment and imagine with me. So here you are. You've got your favorite cable knit sweater on and you're getting ready to relax and jam out to some of your favorite tunes. But as soon as you put on your headphones, you realize that someone has turned up the volume to full max. Now, imagine you can't take your headphones off. You just have to stand there and have the music blasting full force into your ears. How are you feeling now? Well, this is what it can feel like for people who have sensory processing issues. When things in their environment just feel too intense, it feels so incredibly bad. And there's one more important thing to consider here. Many people who are sensitive to their environment are also on the autism spectrum, and some of them have communication issues like being nonverbal or minimally verbal. So now, imagine that you can't take your headphones off and the music is blaring into your ears and everyone else around you is having fun, but you can't tell anyone that you need help. Now ask yourself, how would you be feeling? How would you be behaving? I'm guessing you probably wouldn't be on your best behavior. And this is what it can feel like for those who are dealing with sensory processing issues. So how can you tell if someone's having a hard time because they're overwhelmed by their environment? Well, let's take a look at some of the signs that someone has sensory overload. Signs can include covering ears, closing their eyes, holding their head, crying, shutting down, running away, sometimes even unprovoked aggression, and then there may also be stimming. Stimming is a behavior consisting of repetitive actions or movements designed to self-stimulate. Everyone stims sometimes, but this is particularly common with students who have developmental disabilities and those on the autism spectrum. It is completely harmless. Stimming may look like repeated vocalizations, finger movements, hand flapping, jumping, rocking, foot tapping, and many more. If you suspect a student is overwhelmed, the best thing you can do is take them to a calmer environment. If you can't do that, then make the environment calmer for them. You can do this by offering noise-canceling headphones, turning down the volume, dimming the lights, removing air fresheners, scented candles, or other fragrances. You can even offer a weighted item like a weighted blanket or weighted stuffed animal, but be sure to take time to learn how to use these items properly to ensure safety. And above all else, always respect the individual's personal space. You may be surprised at the difference that changing the environment can make. Now, as you go through your week, I have a challenge for you. Spend some time intentionally noticing the sights, sounds, smells, and textures all around you. Think about if any of these could feel overwhelming to others, and if they did, what would you do to help? Thanks for joining us today. See you next time.